about no weapon formed against me will prosper, and it's a beautiful scripture. But if you read the full scripture, it says this is the inheritance of the servants of the Lord. This is for a select group of people who learn to stay in their lane. When you stay in your lane, the weapons form, but they don't prosper. When you stay in your lane, there's protection. When you stay in your lane, there is covering. There are some people in this room who, you are right, they should not be on the path that they are on. I should not be looking at generational wealth. I should not be looking at generational wholeness. But because some kind of way I stayed in my lane, now the promise that God spoke over my family is a reality. I don't know who needs to hear this, but 2024 is going to be the year of a deal breaker. It's going to be the year where the deals that you made with the enemy, the deals that you made with your shame, the deals that you made with your insecurity are broken because you stay in your lane. And because you stay in your lane, you make some commitments to God. God, I don't know why you placed me here. God, I don't know what you're seeing me, but I'm going to stay in my lane. The old folks will say, I think I'm going to run on and see what the end's going to be. I'm going to stay in this lane because there are some promises connected to this lane. I'm going to stay in this lane because there are some weapons that I see forming, and everything in me wants to step out of my lane, to move out of Dodge, to get out of Target. But I'm going to stay in my lane and trust that the promises of the Lord are yes and amen. I see the weapons forming, but I see myself running. I see the weapons coming for me, but I also see goodness and mercy following me. You don't think I see you? I see you, baby.
Yes, happy Wednesday. Great day, everybody. Listen, happy winning Wednesday. Is we staying in our lane? Because I'm staying in my lane, okay? I am staying in my lane. That is a word straight from the Lord, because I'm telling you, listen, the weapons be forming, okay? And you just want to step out of your lane, and sometimes you want to react to some things, but listen, stay in your lane. Continue doing what you're doing. Continue to be who God called you to be, okay? Because like she said, there is a blessing in your lane, okay? Don't try to step in nobody else's lane, because you're going to trip and fall, or make somebody else trip and fall, okay? Stay in your lane. This is Real Talk Podcast, y'all. Real Talk Podcast is all about the real healing, growing, prosperity, and real life experiences that will inspire a generation to have exponential growth, to be the last and the first. Tune into healthy conversation, love, laugh, tears, and awe. And don't forget, this is a non-religion zone and a non-judgment zone, okay? Y'all, I am Shalonda, and I am your host. And I just thank y'all for tuning in. I got a little treat for y'all today. Okay, we got some topics. We got some hot topics, and we got to listen. The topic of today is accountability. Okay, and it's not what everybody thinking about. It's about, us picking the right spouse, you know what I'm saying, or the right partner. I'm gonna bring my beautiful co-host in, Miss Mickey Dawn. Hey girl, how you doing?
How you doing? That's for Wendy, y'all. That's for Wendy.
That is for Wendy. How you doing?
How you doing?
Yes.
I'm looking rough and stuff, but you know what? This is me and my natural.
Okay.
And period.
Same here. I'm like, oh, I ain't got it together at all, but that's
all roughy stuff.
Okay, it's all right. I need to retwist and all, but it's all good. You know what I'm saying? It's good to see your beautiful face as usual.
Thank you.
Yes, accountability, honey.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Give me 2 minutes. I need 2 minutes, and I'm gonna be back with you. Promise. Okay.
Okay.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. So while she is taking that break, I had thought I fixed some things. Oh, I didn't. But y'all, listen. I just want to piggyback on what Pastor Sarah Jakes was saying about staying in our lane. Sometimes things come to knock us off track, and to just discourage us. But listen, you have to continue to run that race. It is a marathon, okay? It is a marathon. Continue to run your race wherever you are in life, whatever position you're holding. Continue to run the race. Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't look to your left or your right and worry about if somebody coming up on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really have to focus on yourself. You have to focus on yourself. And I just thought that was important, because even I need to be reminded sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Because people really do, and situations come to knock you off track. And we sometimes people find themselves in competition with other people, and you know what I'm saying? Listen, you don't know what somebody else is going through. You really don't. We all are going through our own individual things. And while we so busy trying to compete, that person could be struggling so bad. So bad. And what they're doing is the only thing that is probably keeping them afloat. Okay. So let's be good to each other, and let's stay in our lane. Pray for each other, pray for each other's elevation, all that good stuff. Because we definitely need it. You know what I'm saying? Staying in your lane is important. And, staying in your word, staying before the Lord. That is something that we are missing. We talk about God all the time, and I hear people talking about God, and I just wonder, have you really been with God? You know what I'm saying? Because we've too much competition out here. God to show you, God to tell you, listen, this is what I have for you. This is what's for you. This don't got nothing to do with nobody else. This is what I have for you. And I didn't place you here to compete. I didn't place you here to look down on people. I didn't place you here for that. I placed you here for a purpose. Let's walk in our purpose. Let's walk in our calling. And I thought that it was important to say that today. And yes, I have an announcement to make. I have an announcement. So Friday at 1:30 p.m. on the Sylvia Show right here on Facebook. You can tune in. I am the guest on the show, and it's Her Story in the Making, celebrating Women's History Month with us during the month of March. We will be broadcasting live or recorded from the Sylvia Show, featuring interviews with women and her story. Tune in for the engaging experience, okay? So I will be on there with Miss Sylvia on the Sylvia Show, talking about my story, I guess. Okay, so I'm pretty excited about that. So y'all make sure y'all tune in, please. Tune in. Before we get into our topic, I got a couple hot topics. Do you have anything?
I've been seeing things in the media, but I let the media be the media.
Yeah.
So
do you have any, Mickey, did you know?
You know what? I will have that in a few minutes when I get that pulled up, because I have a lot of messages, so I'm gonna see if I can.
Okay, Heather said, "Hey, I'm at work, just stopping by to give some stars. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate it. Y'all make sure y'all like, y'all share, y'all comment. Tell a friend that Real Talk Podcast is on. We're live right now on Shalonda Jones, Real Talk Podcast, Mickey Diamonds on Facebook. All these pages are on Facebook, and we're also live on The Real Lala Jones on YouTube. So tune in. My husband normally does the, tagging and everything. So I'm kind of just working this over here, but he is working. So yeah, that's how that goes. But let's get into a couple of topics real quick. So let's see what I got here. Did you watch the NAACP awards?
I think I'm
watched
one of them
them.
people that DC was talking about, because to be honest, nothing about no NAACP. Who got the
Well,
award? Was it Kirk and them?
no, it was just, a bunch of black people, black artists, black actresses, actors, and reporters and different stuff. It's like, the big celebration that they do every year. Kyla Pratt was on the red carpet interviewing, looking stunning as ever. And we had a lot of interviewers, but for some reason, I wrote down all of that stuff and I cannot find it because I was out of town when it happened. And now I don't know where it is. But I got a few things that I do want to talk about. If you're just tuning in, make sure you like, you comment, share, and tell a friend to tell a friend. How about this? At the NAACP Awards, Megan Good's sister had something to say. She is very upset. So let me play this. I don't know how good I recorded this, but
this industry owes her so many awards. Okay? Good thing she don't give a fuck about that. But I am so sick of seeing this industry not give her her props. And namely, I'm tired of us not giving her her props. Because she has held the community down, period, in multiple ways. Not just on screen, but in her community. She mentors young women. Like, what do you want from this girl? She is a phenomenal actress. She has given so much to the industry over so many years. She's helped other people accomplish their goals in this industry. She's paved ways for other actors.
yes. First of all, didn't that look exactly like Megan Good?
It did,
I
but
was like,
on
wait.
another note, who don't ever give Megan her flowers? Megan is big up.
So exactly on my end, I really love Megan Good. I absolutely adore her. But she also was nominated actually for 3 times, but she did not win anything. And I went to the comments because I'm like, how do the people feel? Let me see if I can pull this up.
I mean, what has she done recently though? I feel like when she really is in something, she wins.
So she's in a show called Harlem. What is happening? Yeah, she's in a show called Harlem. And I think she actually got nominated for that show.
So who won
that
category?
So we're gonna get into that. Let me pull this up. So I went to the comments and it said, I am sorry, but you don't get an award for being a good person. That is based off your character or morals. And probably your upbringing and the surroundings. Because if that is the case, then a lot of folks should be getting an award for being a good person. Somebody else said, I love Megan Good, but how many important roles has she played? Somebody else said, when she started dating Jonathan, people started looking at her different.
No, I disagree. I don't think nobody cares that much.
Somebody said Megan Good was amazing in 2 Lifetime movies.
Yeah, I feel like she good in stuff people know about.
Exactly.
Who really? I never heard of Harlem. I don't watch Netflix shows and all that other stuff. It got to be some premiere movie stuff that I'm gonna watch and say, "Oh yeah, you need to be nominated for that."
Yeah. True enough. But she has a lot of movies that she's in. Some that I've never even heard of, and some that I really, really love. But like I said recently, she lost. Oh my goodness, she lost against. She's Let me look it up because I had it, and like I said, I lost my paper.
Because I feel like sometimes people think because you are like a seasoned actress that you have to win everything you're in. You know, it don't work like that. I mean, yes, granted you are talented, but sometimes there's going to be somebody that's going to be more talented than you.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants their name in the lights, right? But at the same time, you can't win them all. But that doesn't mean that we respect you any less. The morals that you put out there for yourself of who you date and things like that, I mean, it is what it is. It's not really our business, but when you make it our business, then you're leaving it open.
Yeah, for sure. I think that her roles are amazing, but there's a lot of shows that she went against. Um, Geez, and I'm gonna get it after the show. I'm gonna pull it back up. We're gonna go back over it. I'll pull it back up. But the shows that she won against obviously are doing so much better than Harlem. And this show has been going on since 2021. I've never seen it. It's actually a series. So yeah. But I mean, I think that a lot of the times people do, you know, people do forget about certain artists and certain actors and actors, and they don't get acknowledged properly. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know that Megan Good was in anything.
That's what I'm saying. I had no idea. So does that mean that her worth is any less, or that she not giving her flowers? So James said we give her flowers, but the industry doesn't. I mean, I disagree. I feel like
I can agree too. It's the industry, it's not us. We love her. Hold on. I'm about to find something real quick. I'll be right back. Can you see me still?
Absolutely not. I can hear you plain as day, but I see a big black screen.
So somebody else said awards for what? I'm genuinely asking. She's always played the girlfriend role. Only role that she has gotten an award for, in my opinion. I think so I get what she's saying, and I love Megan Down, but get in line. So have the Maris and the Waynes, Essence Atkins, Kyla Pratt, Raven Simone, Jason Weaver, the list going on. These are all the people who have been around forever and yet to be properly honored and contributed in contributions, right? Which is true, but we love our people. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But I don't agree. I mean, I feel like because we talking about this now, right? I never even heard of that show. But have you
ever heard of the Abbott or something?
What is that?
I think that's one of the shows that she went against. One of the shows that
So I would like to know if anybody knows who won in that category. Put it in the comments, because if we're gonna jump to the defense, then we gotta have something to defend. So who won that category, and did they deserve that win? Because the shows that I hear about and I still haven't watched, I still know about it, like Sisters. I've never watched the show, but I've heard a plethora of good things about it. But I think a lot of people now are into those reality and drama and, I don't know, love and hip hop or basketball, whatever be coming on with that relationship stuff, with drama and fighting, and all I hear in the timeline is Josephine or whatever her name is. I don't know. I can't even keep up with these girls, but it's the drama, fighting, screwing each other baby daddies, in and out of relationships, toxic. That's what's winning right now. So I think sometimes our seasoned actors and actresses need to be proud of their accomplishments in their era.
Yeah.
And just respect that it's a new era.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know what Harlem is. So
yeah, I don't know either, but it says that she was nominated 3 times this year for her role of Camille in the hit Amazon Prime series.
Nobody watches anything on Amazon Prime. I have Amazon Prime and I don't watch none of the movies.
I don't either.
The music that's free, none of that.
Yeah.
If it ain't on Hulu or Netflix, sadly, because think about it, what's Amazon Prime compared to Netflix? If you're on Netflix, technically you made it. Amazon Prime is a bunch of freebies.
Yeah.
Or stuff that probably ain't even make it to the box office or Netflix or Hulu. So you got to think about that. Like, even when you take on deals, even when you take on contracts, like, you know what I mean? You have to think about how that's going to affect your career too.
Exactly.
Because if they saying, okay, well, this only going to be on Amazon. Do you think that you worth more than Amazon? So you have to know your worth too. If you want us to know your worth and respect your worth, you can't just accept everything that's, you know.
Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. I just think that people need to, you know, maybe find roles with certain people, and you know what I'm saying, and be a leading actress instead of, you know, in the backgrounds. Lolly said, I'm tuned in, cousin. Hey, hope all is well. She said she watched the NAACP awards for a minute. I did too. I got to see some good stuff, and I actually wrote some stuff down, and I cannot find it. James Boykin said, hey, what's up, Shy? He said, we give her flowers, but the industry doesn't. You did read that.
Mm-hmm.
Then Rashonda Streeter said, I like to watch BMF. Yes. BMF is back on, you know what I'm saying? I do like to watch BMF.
Because now BMF, even I heard of BMF, even though what is it? But I've heard of it. You know? No,
Black Mafia
actually,
oh my God.
Actually, no, I did watch like half of that, to be honest.
BMF is amazing.
Right. Oh, somebody drilling me in the comments, but it's cool.
He said, all you watch is Living Single.
Out there.
I love Living Single. It's never gonna be old.
Dang, that was insanity right there. What were you thinking?
But to finish up with Megan Good, she was in Think Like a Man. She was in House Party for the Game. I don't know what One Missed Call is. Deception, Saw 5, I think. I'm trying to find something. She was in Friday in 1995. She was in Biker Boys, Roll Bounce. She was in My Wife and Kids, Waist Deep. That was a really good
those were all, we love that.
Yeah.
We know what you're saying now.
Yeah.
We don't know what Harlem is. The only thing that I know with Harlem is Tiana Taylor.
Yeah. I think Tiana Taylor is in it.
Yeah.
And Tyler Perry. That's funny. All you watch is Tyler Perry.
It's sick. You know, this is blasphemy. I think you should block whoever this James Boykin because he has lost his marbles.
All right, that is so funny. All she watching is Living Single and Tyler Perry, but those are good movies. All right. So have y'all heard about the Nickelodeon documentary?
I was reading a little bit on that today, but I was confused. I was very confused.
Well, I got a little clip that I can play.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna play the whole thing because this thing say 2 minutes and 25 seconds, so that's a long time. But I'll just go as far as I can.
In the early 90s, Nickelodeon was kid everything. And you better hope that your house had cable.
Wasn't there to educate you. We were there to have fun, to get slimed, to be entertained. And this is when Dan Schneider arrives, Nickelodeon's golden boy. He created these shows that were hugely successful for them.
No one had ever really done sketch comedy starring kids for kids.
He launched the careers of child actors who became major stars.
For 20 years, he shaped children's entertainment and culture.
Hey, thank you for being here.
But that marked one of the darkest chapters. Working for Dan was like being in an abusive relationship.
Dan's treatment of people on his shows was an open secret.
So my lawyer filed complaints, gender discrimination, hostile work environment, harassment, and it was so devastating.
How safe can any kids be in that environment? There would be even bigger problems down the line with actual pedophiles on set.
These are 3 predators who worked at Nickelodeon, all in a short amount of time.
Hey guys, we're ready for you.
It was a toxic environment. It made me trust people less.
We were there for so many hours. You get comfortable with people until you're not.
I had no idea what I was saving my son from. It's a house of horrors.
They find this enormous trove of child pornography.
The officer said we found Ziploc bags, each one with a girl's name on it.
11 charges of child sexual abuse related to a child actor.
It made me wonder who was being hurt.
I've been waiting 17 years for today.
It wasn't dealing with anybody on the shows or anything, right?
It was a child actor.
On one of our shows?
Yes. Have you ever told your story publicly before?
Woo!
That's a wrap. 11 count, man. Listen here. Ooh.
That's deep, okay? That is extremely deep.
That's
so this is Dan Schneider. They're saying that he was he's, you know, the guy who created Nickelodeon. Like he made these child stars big, but behind the scenes, he was doing things with these children that he should not have done. I did not see the documentary, but I did see other clips that were just too long for me to share on the show. And my advice to anybody who is putting their children in acting, modeling, anything, don't leave your kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there was one actor, the black boy that you've seen on here. He said that his mom was always around and she always spoke up. She always said something. He said there was an incident where he took a picture with him and he bit his head. He literally had his teeth in his head and was like, "This is my chocolate drop." And the mom was like, "Nah, not happening. Don't put your teeth on my child." No.
Cheers.
Yeah, crazy.
But they said that. Do you remember? Like, this was a while back, and they did something like that on the Maury Show. Remember that? And they had behind the scenes. Was it? It might have been the Steve Wilkos show. I don't know. It was one of those. But anyways, they were doing behind the scenes, and they were doing like mock auditions with kids just to see, you know, how protective the parents would be, or how lenient, or how, you know, the parents would be.
Yeah.
And these were like little kids, like we're talking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 at the most. I don't think anybody was older than that. And so they were taking them to these little mock auditions. They didn't know, the parents didn't know that they were fake. And so the thing was, they had to go through a door to a certain part. When they say, okay, they made it this far, we just have to take them in this room for a few minutes and they have to rehearse some lines, and then I bring them back out. And don't you know, every single parent except one let their kid go. And they said, okay, we'll be waiting out here. And that's when they stopped it. They stopped it right there when they said, oh, just let them go, you know. So because the one mom, she was like, well, can I just sit in the room? She's like, well, I don't feel comfortable because she's only 4. I don't feel comfortable with her being by herself, and because I don't really know y'all. And not to say that you'll do anything to her, but I just feel more comfortable being her mother, just being in the room with her. The only parent that said that out of like 10 parents. But do you know how easy it is?
Yeah.
And it's like, as parents, you're not thinking about that, right? At the moment. Because you're thinking like, oh, my child finna be a star. Oh, my child finna make some money. Or my child finna do this. But you're not thinking about the welfare of your child.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised how many parents would do that. And then when they were sitting back watching it, of course, they're embarrassed.
Of course.
So question them, like, do you know what could have happened? Do you know, like, how often kids get sexually assaulted? Do you know how, kids get that? Like, this is
taken advantage of. And that's just like the R. Kelly case, Surviving R. Kelly. When I watched that documentary, I was disgusted by the parents.
Exactly.
How dare they sit there and talk about this and that and the third, and this was going on, and you left your child with just because they're a singer and they're famous and they have money, you just left your child? And then you talk about how they were being groomed and how they listen, you knew. You put your child in that situation, and for some reason, you felt like you needed to come out with this documentary because you're not getting your way. Obviously, I was more disgusted. I mean, I literally wanted to throw up with what I was hearing come out of the parents.
Can you imagine though? There is no way in hell I'm allowing my teenage daughter to go with any man. I don't care who it is.
Exactly.
There is nobody. I don't care who it is. It's just a thing, and it's not even all the time about the man either. It could be your own kid, and you just know it's your kid, but it's a both way thing. As a parent, though, why would you allow your teenager, preteen, older teen period, to go with a bunch of men? And you're talking about the industry of music and racy and video girls. Why is you letting your kid? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think in your mind?
Money.
But you're not thinking that. You think
you literally selling your child.
Take her. You sold your kid. So why ain't you in jail with him? That's my only thing. It's not about defending R. Kelly, but it ain't just R. Kelly.
Yes, absolutely. Because I blame him for whatever role he did play in it. But I mean, y'all sat there and made that dang on documentary trying to X yourselves out of it. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Y'all was selling y'all kids to this man thinking that he was gonna make y'all kids famous, like a Aaliyah or something like that. And it backfired in your face. So now you want to come out with a documentary? No.
Right.
I would have never. If I bring my kid to an audition, I am not. If they tell me, "Oh, mom, you got to stay here," oh well, then we gotta go. We gotta go because I know what am I staying here for? What you know what I'm saying? I need to see everything that's going on with my child, whether it's a boy or a girl. I need to know because they not Xing boys out at all.
Exactly. As we can see.
James Boykin said, man, all these companies from a childhood are built by and ran by terrible people. WWE and Vince McMahon, Nickelodeon and Dan, who next? Exactly. Rashonda Streeter said that's deep. Yeah, and it's sad. It's really, really sad that after all these years, we have grown up. I grew up on Nickelodeon. Like she said, in the 90s, you had to have some cable to watch some Nickelodeon, okay? Because it was entertaining. It was so many shows on Nickelodeon that I absolutely love. Kenan and Kel. Freaking The Amanda Show. Oh my God, I could go on and on. I can't even think. And even the events, like when they played with the ghoul and the stuff like that, like we watched those. You know what I'm saying? James Boykin said that nigga look like a thumb with a wig. I was thinking, man, he must have been making so much money. He just literally ate himself away because I mean, he was not that big, and then his face just. Rashonda Streeter said a lot of parents didn't care as long as they got the fame. Yeah. And that's why, you know,
be in jail.
Yeah, they should be in jail too. And even the wife, even his wife, I think that she should have been in jail. R. Kelly's wife. Because
We don't
she
really
knew a lot that was going on, and you sat back and you just let it go on, and then all of a sudden you're not getting what you want, and now you want to come out. I just that whole documentary did not sit right with me.
Yeah, it was a lot missing.
Yeah.
But of course, you know, while we're talking about accountability, everybody wants to pass the blame at the adult, right? But R. Kelly wasn't the only adult in the situation.
Nope. You know? And even on his team, a lot of childhood stars ended up on drugs and committed suicide because of trauma. Yes, that is so true.
So or true. Still recovering from it. It's sick. Yeah,
it really is. But it's so many stories that's obviously going to be exposed, and there were people that actually never got exposed, never got touched and stuff like that because they had their parents there looking over them. And some people said that they didn't care to be close to him. Like a lot of people were close to him and stuff, and they got to go to his house and he had parties and stuff like that. But some people said they heard stories and he wasn't so nice all the time. But yeah, that's a thing, and everybody's watching it and keeping up with that right now.
And then you got to remember, even in that Spike Lee movie, what was it? School Days. We got to think, like, who was that? Tashina Arnold? Am I saying her name right? Tisha Campbell. I'm sorry.
Tisha Campbell.
She was 15 doing sex scenes. But her mom signed off on that. You understand what I'm saying? What makes it any different? It's like what you're allowing certain things, and God only knows how often that really happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because a lot of people don't look their age. Even certain pageants are uncomfortable. They look like little grown-ups.
I'm sick. Sorry, but I'm you know,
the fake
I'm not
teeth,
with it. The whole makeup thing.
Like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They look like little prostitutes.
Yeah.
Like what is really going on? Like, well, I think not. No, ma'am.
Right. I never knew Tisha was that young doing that.
He was 15 doing sex scenes. That was a whole sex scene, and he was of age. Plus.
Wow.
But her mother had to give consent for her to do that scene because she was.
And who would want a child to do the scene? No matter how much of a great actress you are, why would you want a child to do a sex scene?
Right. But because she was a great actor, quote unquote, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of stuff slid back in the day. And unless you read about it, you know, it's just unfortunate. Because she was a whole child. But so, and I feel like when kids are introduced to things like that, whether voluntary or involuntary, it resets your brain, right? Okay, because now you've surpassed certain things that you weren't even able to learn about completely to even grasp or fully understand what is really happening to you. So now your whole thought process has been rerouted, right, into that of a brain that now you're supposed to actually think like an adult, right? Because you have to prepare a kid for a scene like that. So how did you prepare her mentally for that? And then how did that affect her, if it did affect her as an adult? Did that create hypersexual? Was she comfortable in her sexuality? Did she, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder how she feels about doing that role. How she feels as an adult. Yeah, like, I would really wonder how she feels right now as an adult that she played that role. And maybe there's no effect. Maybe it was nothing.
Yeah. So, maybe she enjoyed it, but my thing is, I'm not letting I don't care.
Not a chance in France, and mine get on my nerves, but there's no way. There's certain things it's not a pass for me, man.
Yeah, I'm not signing on. I can tell you that. I'm not signing on, and I'm not agreeing with anything that violates my child in any type of way. How you doing? So yes, I got a couple other things, but we need to get into this topic, okay? Because it's gonna be good, okay? So our topic today is accountability, and our question is: why are women always the blame?
Ooh, honey child,
Why do people say women pick the wrong man?
Accountability, because they mammies is bald headed. That's why.
Women pick the wrong man to have a child with. That's what they say.
They don't never say what the man don't do. They never say, oh, well, maybe he was charming. Or but even so, right? Even so, even if you pick dead wrong, okay, failed draft pick for the Buffalo Bills, right? It's still you the pappy. If you the pappy, you the pappy.
You the pappy.
You know, you the pappy. Y'all both knew what happened, right?
Right.
You both knew what was gonna happen. You know what I mean? If you went to health class, you know what happened when you do stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, why is it not that your body, your choice? But what about you did this too?
Yes. Like how I just like that is a really, really good question. Am I saying her name right?
Rashonda, yeah.
Rashonda. Okay. She said, LOL, and because a lot of men wasn't raised right. I do feel like that is the case, but why are we the blame? Why is it that when as women, our relationships fail, why are women the blame? Why is it that when a man does not take care of his child, you know, why are the women the blame? Why do they say, will you women be picking the wrong man to have a baby by?
And I keep seeing that. This is stuff I haven't even seen like long time ago. Before it was like, ooh, deadbeat, you just a deadbeat. But now it's like, oh, you picking wrong. It's like, how? Yeah. Why can't you just be honest? Or why can't you just be upfront about who you really are? You know, it's just sick.
Why can you be upfront with who you really are? A lot of the times, men, I'm gonna say groom, or they seduce women and they say, I can be this for you, I can be that, I want to do this, and then they don't end up living up to what they say.
Yeah.
Rashonda said, because women are the ones that are left with the child, so it's easier for them to blame the woman, which is true. When you meet someone, the beginning is always amazing until they get comfortable.
That's the one. That's the reason right there. Because
the comfortability.
This is what I'm saying. And like, even today, like I was talking to my client, he's like, what, 85, right? He's got all his marbles, you know. So we had a conversation about that, and you know, he was asking about, you know, the dating pool. I said, to be honest, it's quite shallow. And you know, he was surprised. He was like, well, what are the men like? So, you know, I was explaining to him like how a lot of men operate, how they think. He was like, so he basically told me, well, you sound more traditional. He said, so you feel like if you go on a date with a man, he's supposed to pay. I said, right, isn't that right? He was like, no, you're right. That's absolutely how it should be. He said, yeah, the man should love you more then you love him, because that in itself, a man gonna, like he said, a man gonna know, right, if he really want to be with you or if you just something else. Pretty much, that's how he put it. So he's like, yeah, a lot of stuff, you know, you don't, he said you never want to like overexert yourself with a man, because a man that really wants you, you're gonna know. And if you don't feel that, then you know what I'm saying, you gotta make a choice. But a lot of these men are good pretenders.
Good pretenders. Very, very great pretenders. What about, a lot of people say that women most likely choose the wrong person because they have daddy issues. And that really, you know, it could be true, but then again, I disagree, because
that's deep.
Yeah, I kind of disagree, because at the end of the day, you cannot tell a mass murderer by just looking at them. And my daddy issues ain't got nothing to do with that. It's just the facade that the man is putting on. But now, do women repeat cycles sometimes because of their daddy issues? That could be true.
That's a tough one right there. I can't even, because that's a yes and no. Because being fatherless, you kind of miss out on the way a man is supposed to treat you. And I can always tell, right, when a woman has a father in her life, one that was active. You can always tell those women. It's a different type of confidence that they have. It's a different set of standards that they have. Like, I have like 2 or 3 friends that probably more than that, but they have strong male role models who were their fathers. And they basically say like they'd rather be single for the rest of their life than to settle for a man that's not a provider. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like their number one thing. If you're not a provider, like, men are meant to provide. That's the lesson that they learned from their fathers, their uncles, all the strong male figures in their life, because they provided for them.
Yeah.
And they said, basically, if a man ain't treating you like this, then you need to walk away.
Yeah.
But as women who lack that, right, that male provider, it's a little weakness there, a little bit. So it's like, if you don't see that off the rip, then it's kind of like you let it skate by a little bit. You know what I mean? You might say, okay, well, he ain't all the way right there, but I'm gonna give it some time.
Yeah.
And then that time turns into some time, right? So now you in that relationship with expectations instead of the reality of the situation. Now you got a project, right?
Talk about it.
That's when that accountability piece come in, because now, although he's showing you who he is and his capabilities, now it's up to you what you're gonna do with that. So you can decide if you want to stay and be supportive, you know, like Taraji was in that movie, or you could take a back seat and you could say, you know what, maybe when you get yourself together, if I'm still available.
She just went out, but she'll be back. But I was gonna say, I personally know someone who had a very, very active father in their life, still do. And in their marriage, they have this thing where she says, I don't even want to know what you're doing. I don't want to know if you're cheating or not, as long as it does not make it to my front door. So this man could be doing whatever it is that he wants. She says she's not going to go through a phone. She's not going to snoop and try to figure it out. And mostly because of the simple fact is the man is the provider. So I think it is a little strange or whatever that women who had their fathers in their life kind of think like that. You know what I'm saying? Just to have a providing man. that and he can do any and everything. It doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a little tricky because I mean you could still have a father in your life and still be treated any kind of way by a man. Like I said, the accountability of a man, like, and even women speak like this, like, we choose the wrong man, we choose the wrong man. And I'm a type of woman that I let a man choose me. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to choose a man. So at the end of the day, it's up to that man to really, the same thing you did to keep a woman is the same thing you need, the same thing you did to get the woman is the same thing that you need to do to keep a woman. And it's vice versa. I'm not just saying, it's only men that's supposed to work in the relationship or whatever, but what I am saying is that men tend to, say, men tend to, I can do this and I want to do this and I want to be in your life, and kind of to get what they want and out of you, or they're thinking they want this relationship and they want to make it work, but eventually they probably feel like later on this doesn't work. But you still have to be accountable and take care of the children that we had together and stuff like that. A man can't just leave a woman stranded taking care of children and say it, and then we say, oh, it's the woman's fault. How is it the woman's fault when the woman is still there taking care of the children every single day? You know what I'm saying? Like, we have to really make this make sense. It's not making any sense. This is a big conversation that continues to be had, and men need to start holding themselves accountable and be better men, be better fathers. And that's just that. And yes, women, we need to hold ourselves accountable, maybe give ourselves more time when we're dating. We need to have more conversation. We need to communicate better, communicate properly when we step into these situations. And we can also say wait till marriage to have children and all that other stuff. But I always use myself as an example because you know what I'm saying? I don't think that marriage holds a lot of weight in this generation. I'm just saying, we get married and people still play games in a marriage. People still cheat. People still lie. People still be fake and put on a facade about who they really truly are in a marriage. Yeah. So at the end of the day, we just have to figure this out, and we are the generation that need to figure it out. Maybe just they have like different card games and stuff and different things that like we have access to so much nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So we need to ask the hard questions before we get into these relationships. Not saying just be friends, but go sit down, have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, a donut or something, and ask these hard questions about, talk about your finances, talk about what you want in the future, talk about your dreams and your goals and your aspirations and things that you see yourself doing. Talk about how many kids you want to have if you don't want to have kids. Like come to an agreement. A lot of people, let me see. Hey, babe. A lot of people hold on to what they used to have or what they think they could have. True indeed. That is very, very true. A lot of people do hold on to what they used to have. And that's like something like, okay, don't date because of history. Don't stay in a relationship because of the history that you have. Yeah, sometimes history just got to be history. And that's it. History. Bye. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. Women that hold women that hold those kind of men usually have a low self-esteem and don't think they will find better or okay with being alone. Yes, that is absolutely true. A lot of women are just afraid of being alone, but men are also afraid of being alone. But I mean, I guess that's where we can hold ourselves accountable in this situation. We have to learn how to walk away from situations and not keep beating a dead horse over the head, because if the relationship is not working and two people are not putting in that energy to make the relationship work, then you know what I'm saying? It's time to literally walk away. But I think it's time to stop just blaming women for choosing the wrong men or the wrong baby daddy, the wrong husband or whatever. We need men to just step up and be better men and hold themselves accountable. We need men to take care of their children so that when their children get older, they can be better people. And also women, we have to come together and we have to build and make these children better people. And that's just it. So that we can have a better generation. Okay? Like, let it end with us. Like, stop the madness. Let's stop pointing the finger and blaming the women, because the men hold a big part. You need two people in a relationship. And I just feel like, if we choose to split ways, you have to continue to take care of your kids. And if we're in a relationship, you have to be honest, loyal, committed. Fight for what you signed up for. Plain and simple. It's nothing hard about that. When you get into a relationship, be prepared to fight for what you want, because everything is not going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Everything is not going to be perfect. So yeah, hold yourself accountable, men and women. Stop falling into that place where we are allowing society, we're allowing social media, we're allowing what other people say to allow us to agree with the foolery. You know what I'm saying? I just hear so many women agreeing with this, that women are not, Mickey said that her reception keeps going out. It's okay, Mickey. Keep trying to get on. Yeah, women are agreeing with, the things that are being said about us. And it's like, I just don't understand why we want to take full accountability for what men are not doing in these relationships. I'm not going to take accountability. I remember when I, left my ex-husband, and I would tell my story on the radio or whatever, and I would have women literally like, well, what did you do? You need to hold yourself accountable. And it's like, well, you clearly don't know me, but everybody needs to hold themselves accountable. But at the end of the day, I can say that I played a major role on being a very, very consistent wife, consistent mother, consistent woman of God, educating myself, building my career. It just wasn't, it wasn't solid. Obviously, it wasn't a solid foundation. And men are supposed to keep the foundation very much solid. Women keep things going, but men are supposed to keep it solid. If you're allowing women to come into your relationship, if you're allowing people to come into your relationship, that is a problem. If you are missing in action and you should be home taking care of your children, that is a problem. You cannot tell me that I need to hold myself accountable because a person was not doing right by me or by themselves. Because first of all, we need to learn how to have integrity. That's something that a lot of people don't have. And having integrity means that whatever you do in front of people, be okay with not doing it when nobody's around. What do you do when nobody's around? What do you do when your spouse is not around? You know what I'm saying? How do you talk to the opposite sex when your spouse is not around? Hold yourself accountable. Point blank, period. You know what I'm saying? If you're a woman and you get into a room full of men, how are you presenting yourself? You know what I'm saying? If you're a man and you get in a room full of women, how are you presenting yourself knowing that you are in a relationship? So accountability is a very, very strong thing that we need to work on as a people. And we need to focus this on the next generation. If you are having babies with somebody, find a way to work it out. Find a way to co-parent. Find a way. Please. You know what I'm saying? And women, stop taking on the account. Like we can't keep doing that. We do that way too much. We really, really do. And it's kind of old and dried out. So that's what we wanted to talk about today. I thank y'all for the likes, the shares, the comments. I thank y'all for tuning in to Real Talk Podcast. Again, I want to share with y'all. Make sure y'all tune in this Friday on the Sylvia Show. I will be on there. I'm being interviewed by Miss Sylvia Rondock on her show. Right here on Facebook, it's called The Sylvia Show. I think you go to her page, Sylvia A. Rondock is her page, I believe. And it will be live Friday at 1:30 p.m. That's March 22nd. So I'm excited about that. So y'all make sure y'all tune in and hear her story. I am excited, y'all. I really honestly, I put in a lot of work, and I don't do it for the recognition. I don't do it for to be invited anywhere, but it feels good to be invited. It feels good to be recognized because the work is being put in. So I definitely appreciate being invited on her podcast and her platform. It's kind of the same as mine. But yeah, let me think. Is there anything else? Unfortunately, Mickey lost connection, so she didn't get to say goodbye to y'all. But yeah, my message is to you before I leave is stay in your lane. I'm gonna play this video on the way out, and I just want y'all to meditate on this, okay? I have been going through some really trying days. I've been going through some trials and tribulations, and hey, I know everybody has. But with being out in the forefront and people seeing you all the time, sometimes it just gets so hard. You try not to wear it. You try not to, wear your heart on your sleeve. I'm a very emotional person. And also, I just love very hard. So with the things that I've gone through recently, I'm sorry. Send in prayers. Thank you. Yeah, the things that I've been going through, I just feel like I just feel like God is, more than anything, just opening up my eyes and showing me, the way on my journey. But I just want to encourage somebody that could be going through the same thing and could be feeling like down, rejected, all sorts of things, feeling alone. Keep going. Please keep going. Do not let what people say about you dictate what God is doing in your life. People can have opinions, and it's okay. I think for me, what's hardest about the opinions are who they come from. So when a stranger says something about me, it doesn't really bother me, you know what I'm saying? But when a family member says something, it tears me up, and I can't even hold you. I like it just because I love so hard and I love my family. So it kind of, I just don't want to really like get too deep into it, but like it's like a dagger, you know what I'm saying, that it just pierces your heart, and you know what I'm saying, you have to take time to heal from those things. And you know, I feel like sometimes I don't even want to show my face because I'm hurting, and I keep going through things and all of that, and I'd be like, I just want to give up, I just don't want to do this anymore, but God won't allow me to. He definitely placed the right people in my life to encourage me, to build me up, and to help me and to become. But there's also situations that come to knock you off your A game. And sometimes it can come from the people that's closest to you. And, you know, that's what the word says, you know, and I know that I have to keep going, but, you know, it's hard. It's not easy. I just wanted to share that because I don't want to get on here and I don't want nobody to think that I think that I'm perfect. Because I know that I'm not, and as I always speak of, I do what I do because God gives me vision, gives me a dream. He gives me the strength to do it. He tells me what to do and what to say, and it may not look like what other people think I should say. Definitely with it being ministry, but I'm doing what I'm doing because there's a young lady out there that wants to do what I'm doing, and she's probably watching me right now, or she'll watch me later, and she's gonna get the strength to say, you know, I saw Shalonda doing it, and I can do it too, or whatever it is that they want to do. It doesn't have to be the same thing. But I saw her walking in her purpose and her goals and never giving up. And that's why I do what I do. I have children, and I started this, and I want to keep going because I don't want them to ever give up on their goals and their dreams. My goal here is to continue to do what I'm doing, and I'm not going to stop. No matter the new ventures that I step into, I'm not going to stop. No matter the obstacles that come my way and what I'm going through in my personal life, I'm not going to stop. But yeah, it gets a little hard, but I just encourage everybody to keep on going. It's just words, as long as you know everything will be okay. Yes, everything will be okay. I'm believing that. I'm trusting God that when I do go through these things, that it just, you know, it elevates me. It knocked me down, but I get right back up. You know what I'm saying? Keep pushing. Thank you. I will. I love y'all. I thank y'all so much. Don't forget to stay in your lane. Okay? This is Real Talk Podcast, and I'm your host. We're here every Wednesday, okay? At 7 p.m., y'all. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Last week we took some time off. I had a trip to go on, so of course, you know. But yeah, tune in every Wednesday at 7 p.m. right here on YouTube, The Real Lala Jones. Right here on Facebook, Shalonda Jones, Real Talk Podcast, Mickey Diamonds, Gabriel Baker, and Jill Santiago. Thanks for the heart, Mickey. I love you too. Glad I tuned in today. Yes, thank you. I'm glad that you did too. I really, really appreciate your comments, your views, and everything. Yeah. Stay tuned in, okay? It only gets better. But continue on with your week. Have an amazing week, a prosperous week, and speak positivity, you know, because let me tell you something. People be trying to prey on your downfall. You don't know who watching. Okay? But stay positive, stay prayed up, get in that word, and lean on the Lord, okay? Because He's the only one that keeps us going. I promise you. See y'all later. Peace.
We always talk about no weapon formed against me will prosper, and it's a beautiful scripture. But if you read the full scripture, it says this is the inheritance of the servants of the Lord. This is for a select group of people who learn to stay in their lane. When you stay in your lane, the weapons form, but they don't prosper. When you stay in your lane, there's protection. When you stay in your lane, there is covering. There are some people in this room who, you are right, they should not be on the path that they are on. I should not be looking at generational wealth. I should not be looking at generational wholeness. But because some kind of way I stayed in my lane, now the promise that God spoke over my family is a reality. I don't know who needs to hear this, but 2024 is going to be the year of a deal breaker. It's going to be the year where the deals that you made with the enemy, the deals that you made with your shame, the deals that you made with your insecurity are broken because you stay in your lane. And because you stay in your lane, you make some commitments to God. God, I don't know why you placed me here. God, I don't know what you're seeing me, but I'm going to stay in my lane. The old folks will say, I think I'm going to run on and see what the end's going to be. I'm going to stay in this lane because there are some promises connected to this lane. I'm going to stay in this lane because there are some weapons that I see forming, and everything in me wants to step out of my lane, to move out of Dodge, to get out of Target. But I'm going to stay in my lane and trust that the promises of the Lord are yes and amen. I see the weapons forming, but I see myself running. I see the weapons coming for me, but I also see goodness and mercy following me. You don't think I see you? I see you, baby.